What is up, you guys? I am back at it with another video, and by the title we're gonna have a little sit down and just talk. I did my makeup and I actually put on eyeshadows. I also even put lashes. You can't even tell because yeah. But anyways, we are going to have a pretty deep conversation. I don't really know where to start. I believe I did do a video. I don't even know if it's still up, but I did do a video about a friend of over 10 years and how I just made the choice to end the friendship because it was getting too toxic for me. She may not think it's toxic. I felt like I was just in a toxic situation constantly. I don't know, I don't remember how much details I gave into this video. I'm gonna open my sparkling water. This is blueberry one. I don't remember how much I shared, but I remember I talked about it with you guys, and I feel like something happened and I need to talk about it here. Because you guys are my friends and I feel like we should go through things together, and you know, it is what it is. Me and this particular person, I have blocked her from social media, so she doesn't know anything about me. I don't know if she, has a friend that maybe that we share same, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know everyone in her life who there may be one person she can maybe see my stuff, but I can't see hers, and I don't plan on seeing her stuff. That's just the way I like to live. If we're not cool, if you're too negative, if you're too toxic in my life, I'd rather just not even see your social media. It's the same thing I did with my ex-husband. We're able to communicate through text, and I feel like that's enough. And people do come to me and tell me like, hey, this person did this, and people do tell me like she went to go do this, and now I'm like, I don't care. And we have messaged each other, but very short, to the point, nothing too crazy, nothing like sharing too much, just more of like Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, stuff like that. And I'm okay with that. There's nothing wrong with, an exchange like that. But just a few days ago, it was more than that. And she reached out because it was way past my birthday, which I don't care. I'm not those people that's like, it has to be on my birthday. I really don't care. Honestly, didn't really do much for my birthday. I didn't want anything crazy. My mom did want to throw me a party. I'm not a party person for my birthday. I'm more of just like, let's do something chill. So I did go do out and about. So we went to this Panda Fest. It was really nice. I didn't really get to enjoy it because the people that I went with, other than my mom was fine, but other people, sorry, Max is just walking in his little tube. But literally the other person that we went with was like in a rush and all that stuff, and I just realized that on my birthdays, I just wanted to be with my mom. I don't want anyone else. But we did then go to a museum, and then we went out to eat. We went to this place where it's like it's like different shops, and so we went there, and then we ate, and then we went home, and then I went to a concert, which I need to I need to talk to you guys about that concert, because that concert was wild. But she then reached out, obviously days after my birthday, and I was thankful. you know, I receive any birthdays, notes, texts, whatever. I don't mind, you know. I'm always grateful. But things just started to then kind of go into the shift where we were talking about certain things. And now I'm not going to go into the details of what was exchanged. I don't want to go through that, but we started sharing more than the normal. And for one second, and I mean like 1 second, right? That's how much I was like, you know what? Maybe we can talk this out again and be friends. Not necessarily be like how we used to be, because we were very, very close. Like, we were together every weekend. Max, stop. We were together every weekend. And it was nice. Like, I think I shared on my previous video, we were like, I felt like we were sisters. And then things took a turn. She started giving me information that I didn't care for. Like, if I don't ask, I don't care. It's just the way I am. And so I specifically asked for certain people because I care for these people. You know, but she then started sharing some stuff about a particular person that I didn't care for. You know, I wished her, I mean, I didn't actually wish her the best, but I was just like, okay, well, good for you, you know? And then, she specifically asked me about my mom, and I just said she's good. I didn't want to go into details, you know? And she said a comment that I thought was for me, ended up being for my mom. And I didn't like that comment. I'm not going to share it on here, but it brought me back to all the trauma. All the trauma. Every single situation she put me through. Not just her, but her ex-husband. And then I remember a conversation we had when we were friends. So we had this conversation when we were friends. And I remember thinking about what she asked. Well, she didn't ask a question. It was more of just like a comment, or she was just saying something. And let me tell you something about me. I'm a sense of humor bitch, okay? For me. As in, I could be going through the craziest thing in my life. I will come up with something funny to say or to do or something. That's just how I am. I never use my sense of humor unless I truly trust and know a friend. But she's not even in the friend category, if that makes sense. She's more of just like a person I know. And I wish she wasn't in that list or in that group, whatever you want to call it. But she is. And I'm going to say the comment she said, not the text. This was like a conversation we had a long time ago. And ever since we had that conversation, our friendship for me, our friendship was just not the same. So I don't remember what we were doing. We were most likely eating. We were always out and about eating. We were always trying new places to eat, and you know, we live in Atlanta, so like there's always new places and there's always, you know, things to do here. People who say there's nothing here to do, there's nothing to do here in Atlanta, there is. You just gotta dig, okay? So she told me that first she was talking about how me and my mom are very close. And it's true. Me and my mom are very, very close. I'm very grateful that I have a mom who I consider a mom, a best friend, my sister, my everything, because she's all I have. I don't have, you know, I grew up with no cousins. I grew up, you know, not like her. She had pretty much her whole family here. I grew up with none of that. Like, I grew up with no other than my mom and my dad, and then obviously just my mom. So we are very close, and we will always be close until she dies, you know, or until I die. Whoever dies first is just, my mom doesn't like talking about me dying maybe before her because she says that won't happen. But you never know. You never know when your time is. That's my thing. You just never know when your time is. So, she said, you know, she was just like, you and your mom are so close, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, you know. And then she says, I don't remember. Okay, so I'm going to try to say how I think she said it, but I don't remember word to word. But let me tell you, after this comment, I realized who she truly was. And it was bad. It was bad for me because I am not the person who she thinks I am. And even if she said this in a sense of humor, in a funny way, in a jokey way, it's not okay. She said, I think if you blank, you could call your mom and she could help you. Sorry, let me rephrase that again. I think, let me re-say that again because I messed up. Okay, so she says something like, I think if you blank, y'all figure out what that word is in there, you can call your mom and she will help you bury the body. First of all, I am not that type of a person whatsoever. I may hate my father. I may hate my ex-husband. I would never do anything to harm them. In any way, period. I have said certain things to them because I do have a mouth. I will say that. I have a big mouth. I will say what needs to be said. I don't care who it is, but I would say what needs to be said. But I would never, ever do what she said I think you would do. After that conversation, our friendship just, for me, it went south. It went south, and I mean, it went downhill. I remember coming home and telling that to my mom, and she looked at me like, what? That is not something that a friend says to another friend. I would never say that to a friend. Never. And you or her or any, I don't know, may see it in a joking way. I don't. I didn't laugh. I remember after that conversation, I went blur. Because that's what I tend to do. Some people, you know, try to erase their trauma, try to have it a blur. That's what happens to me. Some other people get their anger out and they'll go punch a wall or whatever. But my trauma is that when I am put in a situation, I blur it out. I don't remember what happened after this conversation. I remember saying this to her, and this is a conversation me and my mom have had, but if it's like, if I go to jail, like if I do something and I go to jail, you know, she's always told me, if you ever go to jail, I'm not bailing you out. You call me, you let me know you're in jail, you're going to stay there until you are free to go. My mom is one of those moms. She's not going to rush to get me out. She's not going to hire the best lawyer. No, that's not her. Because she's like, you're in there for a reason. You did something to be there. So I immediately said this to her. My mom is not that mom. If I were to ever call my mom and I was put in that situation, my mom would turn me in. She's one of those moms. I know her. She would not help me. She would not be part. And if I were to ever do that, which I would never do that, I would not call my mom for help. Because why would I want my mom to be put in a situation where she will also be in jail? Like, I love my mom. I would literally die for my mom. Yeah. And I would never put her in that situation. But I also said I would never do that. And then I think she immediately said like, oh, I don't mean like you actually doing that, but like if that, and she tried to fix it. I know what she was trying to do, but damage was done. How do you go back to a friend after that conversation? And whoever thinks of their friend doing that, like I've never ever, all the friends that I've had, and let me tell you, I've had many, many friends, okay? Ever since I've been to the United States to now, I remember all of my best friends. They've either been Black or they've been Mexicans, and the best friends are those two. And she's the first one where I'm like, well, shit, that's not a good friend. Obviously other shit happened, other situations happened, but I can forgive her for all the things that she and her ex-husband did, or her ex-husband did. I can forgive all that stuff. You know, it was small stuff compared to that conversation. I don't think I could forgive that. I don't think I could be friends with someone like that again. The funny thing is I never reach out to her. I've never been the first one to message. Maybe one New Year's or Christmas, I was like, oh, Merry Christmas. But I tend to do that with everyone. But like, I don't think I've reached out for her birthday. Just, I know her birthday, like, but I realized after this conversation, we could never be friends like that again. You know, I hope that she's able to find a friend that she can, I don't know, have what she had with me. I don't really care for having a friend like that. I'm kind of just doing my own shit by myself. And I've honestly been enjoying it. The amount of just shit I've been doing alone has been amazing. I've been loving it. I've been loving to going to concerts. I've been loving just, you know, having my own inner peace. And I'm okay with my very little group of friends that I have. I do have friends. It's not like I don't have any friends, but I do have a few, and the ones that I have been great. And like I recently reconnected with a friend from high school, and she was like the cheerleader and I was like the emo kid, and you know, she was like friends with everybody and I had like zero friends because I just was scared. I was a scared kid. I don't know. There was a lot of shit going on in my life back in the day, but you know what's funny is we ran into each other while I was with this friend. Well, I was with the one that I don't talk to anymore. And yeah, and we're great friends now. Like, I've been to her house a lot, and we do a lot of arts and crafts, which is, I love to do arts and crafts. And, you know, we have a glass of wine, and like, it's just really, really, really nice. The friends that I have are not like super close, like this other particular friend that I had, but they're good ones, you know? They care for me, and, you know, whenever a situation happens, like, they're there. I also have a friend where I live at now. We've been friends forever also, when, just, it's sad to see, like, a friendship that I cared for so much. And let me tell you, I did care for her so, so much. I tried my best to get her out of depression and, you know, always made her feel better. I felt like I did that for her. I just felt like in the friendship I didn't receive the same thing. And it sucks. And I wish her nothing but the best, you know, for her and her family. Just, I don't think I have it in me to just bounce back to just be her friend again. Maybe in a few years, who freaking knows, right? But I felt like I needed to just let it out, tell you guys what happened. I'm not gonna go into more details just because, like, I don't want to get sued, you know? I mean, I don't think she would sue me, but like, I'm trying to be careful. I'm not trying to give too much details. I don't want people to like look this person up and all that stuff. Like, it's not within me, but I don't wish her nothing bad. I wish her nothing but the best, and whatever she wants in life, for her to receive it in a amazing, smooth way. You know, I never wish nothing bad. Not even to my dad, not even to my ex-husband. Like, I don't wish bad upon no one. But I feel like for me, like for my sake, it's just better for me and her to not be friends. And the funny thing is, I did run into her a few months ago, and I freaked out. I didn't want to say hi to her. I didn't want to be near her. It was weird. It was so weird because we were so close for so many years, and it sucks. But I think that's how life is. People grow up and they change, and I'm not saying she changed. I'm just saying, like, you know, it's something that occurs, and you know, we had a long run and it was a good one. You know, we had so many crazy stories like together, and if we never are able to reconcile, then I'm okay with that. And if we can, I'm okay with that. Just right now, it's not the time for me, because I felt like I told her, like, my point of view, of my way of thinking of what I thought ended this friendship, and I felt like she didn't see what I was seeing, if that makes sense. I felt like she was kind of defending everyone to just have her own sake and for her to look like a good person, which, hey, you do what you gotta do. But you know, I shared what happened to me and her to multiple close people, like, as events happened, and a lot of people were just like, why are you friends with these people? Like, they looked at me like, these are not good friends. And at the beginning, I didn't see it that way, just because I always like to think that the people that are in my life or in my circle of life, they're good people, you know? And I didn't want to lose a friendship, you know? I didn't want to lose that friendship, so I just kept just, you know, until eventually it got to the point where I honestly just felt like it was too much. Like, I was dealing with a lot already personally, and I was also trying to make her feel better in her situation. But I felt like she didn't do the same thing when I was in my situation. Like, when I was dealing with my divorce and all that stuff, I felt like I was dealing it by myself, and I didn't have a friend. She may think otherwise, and she has the right to think whatever she wants to, but I felt like I was very alone. And when I felt like she was feeling alone, I was there for her. Well, I think I was. You know, I was going to her house and buying food for us to eat and like saying like, hey, let me take you out to eat and stuff like that. And I felt like I was craving that, and I felt like I wasn't receiving it. And maybe I was, and I just didn't see it. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, when I have trauma, I just blur it out. I don't remember shit. It was a weird situation. My mom was very happy. She was like, oh my God, maybe you guys can be friends again. And then I told her about the conversation we were having, and she was like, no. She did message me back. She was the last person to message. I just felt like I didn't really know what else to say. Like this is what was happening. So at the beginning, I started to kind of see that this could be repaired and we can be friends again, right? I started getting my hopes up. And then towards the middle of the conversation, I felt like I was shocked and I couldn't find words to type. Like, my brain was just blank. I didn't know what to tell her. I wanted to tell her things, but I didn't want to share too much. But I didn't want to share too little, because then, you know, it's a weird, you know, like, it just became a situation where I honestly didn't know how to text back. I am grateful for the text she said about my birthday. You know, I'm a very grateful person, but I was very confused of why she texted me at the beginning, and I wish it was not this way, to tell you the truth. I wish I would be able to just forgive and forget. But I'm a person who likes to protect myself a lot because I've been through some crazy shit in my life. And I just am like, I don't want to cry for somebody who doesn't deserve it, you know? And I know myself. If me and her get to be friends again, we're close, very little close, because I don't think we'll ever be the close that we were. That's like impossible. But if we were to ever be close and then something were to happen again, then I would be completely heartbroken. Like, I would cry, because I just would. That's just who I am. Like, I didn't cry for the first time we like stopped talking and stuff, but I think if I were to let it happen again, like, I let her back into my life, she lets me back into her life, and everything's going perfect and everything's great, whatever, and then boom, something else happens and I have to do the decision to walk away, I'm gonna cry because I did that to myself, you know? It sucks. I'm not gonna lie. It truly sucks that this is the way I am, but this is just who the fuck I am. I can't change who I am. I've been through so much crap, and I don't know if she thinks that she knows everything about my life. She doesn't. No one knows everything about my life. Only my mom does. But I've been through some crazy shit where it's like, I like to protect my space. I don't trust everyone now like I used to. and I'm okay with that, and that's just how I'm gonna just keep on living my life. And I'm okay being single. I'm okay with just having my little small group of friends. I don't need, I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't need what I had with her, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Like I said, I do not know what the future holds. You know, me and her, maybe we'll be able to maybe one day sit down and just, I don't know, let shit out and just talk about shit and then let it just be and then have this amazing friendship again. I don't know. That could happen. Maybe it won't. I don't freaking know. And that is scary. But I feel like right now I've been doing so good in like doing my inner healing and like finding peace and being okay with my routine that I have in my life, that I don't think right now is the right time for me. But I wish her nothing but the best, and I hope she's happy, and I hope the people around her are good people. And yeah, that's it for this one. Peace out. Bye.